We are going to discuss a very important aspect of service design standard, which is under this we will study the blueprinting. So, what is very important factor that when you decide for designing some new services, and generally there is a gap too, which is being basically it is the gap between the what is the customer driven services standard and design and what is the management perception of the customer expectation. So this will generally leads to some poor service design, absence of customer driven standard, inappropriate physical evidence and services spaces. So keeping this thing in mind, so there are certain issues that we have to see uh, why this service innovation and design is very important. So we see that there is a challenge of service innovation and design. This is being involved in new service development process. What are the different type of service innovation, change, stages of service innovation and development? And moreover, we are going to discuss today, elaboration is the service blueprinting. So we will focus on the service blueprinting. So just before moving to our service blueprinting, let's understand that whenever we talk about the new service strategy matrix, fine. So there is two factor. One is the offering, and the another is the market we have. And the market can be divided into two parts. That is the current customer and new customer. While the offering may be given to a existing service or new services. So if you are having the existing services and for your current customer, then this is strategy known as the share building. When the existing service is being given to a new customer, so this is known as the developing a new market, means market development. When the new service is being offered to the existing customer, that is the service development. And when a market is new and customer is new, services is new, it is known diversification. So when we think about to develop a new services, fine, if you want to innovate, if you want to improve our existing services, and the very first step in this process, so what we have to do is we have to design, we have to analyze this process before making any kind of changes. We cannot create any new product or services. We cannot go for abruptly going to change any concept or processes. No, first we have to analyze the existing process. We have to design, we have to put our creativity into it, and we have to analyze the processes if it require any changes. So this process of documenting, it is known as the documenting. Means what is the this is the first step in designing or analyzing any process is documenting or describing it. And how do we do it? We do it by two process. The one is known as flow charting. Second is blueprinting. So what is flow chart? So flow chart is the basically describe an existing process, often in a fairly simple form. It's not very complicated. It is simply it's a broader picture or vision of a particular process that is known as the flow chart. And this flow charting is a technique of displaying the nature and the sequence of different steps involved when a customer flows through the service process. It is the flow charting is a technique when we put things into a particular order in a sequence. If a customer comes to our service factory or the facility, what are the ways through which he passes through? It is being depicted in a particular sequence, which is known as the flow charting. So let us understand this flow chart of your budgeted hotel stay. So there is a arrival of a customer, then there will be a check-in, they will spend night in the room, then they will have breakfast, and then they will check out. So it is a very simple process. Here we have not defined the various processes that is involved in their check-in, their room services, how the breakfast is being prepared, what are the process they will go through when they have to check out, when they are arriving, who is going to manage their luggage, what about their parking, how they are going to make payment. These have not been discussed here. It is a very simple process. Fine, this is the flow chart. Now, if you talk about the blueprint, so blueprinting is basically it's a more complex form of flow charting. It is a kind of a flow chart. In flowchart, we have given only a broad concepts, only the broad processes. We have not dealt into the details. While in blueprinting, it is a more complex form of flow charting and specifies in detail how a service process is constructed, indulging what is visible to the customer, and that all goes in the back office. Means it all so cover the something that is hidden from the customer also. So we try to put everything into the blueprinting. So if you talk about what is blueprint, it is basically a blueprint map customer, employees, service system interaction. So how the company, how the customer is going to interact with the employee, how the customer and the employee is going to interact with their service in systems. These are being depicted through the service blueprint, and it shows the key customer action, how customer and employee from different departments interact. See, in order to deliver the services, it is not only the few people who are directly involved. There are so many invisible hands that is working behind the scene. If you remember that what we have discussed in the topic called script theory and the role theory, so we have understood there are n number of people, n number of visible hand. Just for example, when we go to a restaurant, we place an order and we get our order. So we only interact with the floor manager, we interact with the waiter, we interact with the manager maybe who is dealing with the cash. That's it. But there are n number of hands. There is a chef, there is a co-worker, there is a people who is taking care of their purchasing. So there is a person who is washing the dish. So there is n number of people who is working on the back end. So this is how it shows that the key customer action. And what is the customer initiated action? That is how customer and employee from different departments interact. The front stage action by those service employee, and who these are supported by backstage activities and systems. So this blueprinting particularly bring together marketing, operations, and human resource management within the firm. So this gives a picture of how the marketing, operation, and human resource management works together. So this is how this diagram depicts you. So this blueprinting depicts the interaction between customer, employee, system. Customer interact with employee, customer do interact with system, employee interact with the system. So customer and employees are generally, their interaction is seen on the front stage, while the interaction between customer and system, employee and system, is always in the back stage. For your understanding, let us suppose you place an order for the food. Fine. And after finishing your meal, you ask for the check. So how does this check is generated? Maybe there may be an automated way. You can click some button, you can push, and you can get your bill on your table also. So this is how the customer is interacting with the system. If you ask for the check from your waitress or the waiter, then it is you are interacting with the employee. Then the employees go to the system. They get it done on their computer system. They get a bill and then they give you the receipt. This is how this is the backstage. We don't see it, what kind of system they are having. Service blueprinting is basically a tool that simultaneously depicts the service process, the point of customer contact, and the evidences of service from the customer point of view. So there are three main important ingredient in service blueprint. There is a process, there is a point of contact, and evidence, physical evidence, that we will discuss later on. And my dear student, please take care. These are the component, and you should understand this thoroughly, that because whenever you have to design this service blueprint, then you should know what is service blueprint and how it is being used. Fine, that is very, very important. Fine, if you see that there is a certain line, so we are talking about the three lines here. The first line is known as line of interaction, the second is line of visibility, and the third line is known as your line of internal interaction. Fine. So there is your, you can see there are three lines, and above these lines there is certain thing. That is, the first one is your customer action. The second one is visible contact employee action. Third is invisible contact employee action. And the fourth one is your support processes. Fine. So if you will remember this particular diagram, this is basically a format on which you have to design your service blueprint. Entire service blueprint is made basis on this particular format. Fine. This is the layout. This is the design of your service blueprint. Fine. So therefore, I think that you all must go it through very properly, then very seriously. Fine. So I have already discussed about the what are the various component. So the component is here is the customer action is a very important component you have. Then there is a visible contact employee action. Then there is the invisible contact employee action support process. It's mean here is the first thing that customer is going to take certain action, and it is going to contact with the employee action front line people. So there is a line of interaction, and these thing is visible to all. So therefore it is comes under the line of visibility. And then this employee is going to contact with the other set of people who is at the back end. So this is the invisible contact action, which we cannot see. Fine. So it is a line of internal interaction, and there are a number of support systems or a processes through which they use to interact. So this is how you will have this final layout. So first and foremost thing that you have to be see the physical evidence of that particular service factory or the service premises. Now, what is the physical evidence? Physical evidence means there may be some interior atmosphere, there is the external facilities and some atmospheres. So these are the things that makes the physical evidence. Just see when you approach to a particular restaurant, so there are certain things visible to us, the parking lot, the building, the color, and the entrance gate, the parking lot. Then when we enter into their restaurant, then we see the dining area, the kind of uh, furniture and fixture they have, the flooring, the colors on the wall, the ceiling decoration, the temperature, the humidity, the kind of aroma or fragrance they have, the kind of cutlery, the way they have laid down the table, and all these things are the part of your physical evidence. Fine. So then it is the customer that who takes action. Maybe he will order some food, he will order for drink, depending upon the kind of service they are having. So to whom they are going to interact? They are going to interact with the employees. In case of our example, it is the waiter. So there is a line of interaction which is on stage and visible. Now, whatever thing is your order has been given, this is going to be placed on backstage. The waiter is only take the order, which will be finally given to the kitchen. The chef and the co-chef is going to prepare the order. So this is the line of interaction, internal interaction, and how they are going to prepare all the thing, whether it is your billing, whether it is your food, whether other supplies. So there are a number of support processes, and eventually it is C. So this is the basic layout of your service blueprint component, and these are the component. So service blueprint component involve various key component, namely customer action, on stage or visible contact employee, that is front stage, back stage, invisible employee action, that is back stage, and other support processes. Fine. So you should understand this uh, format very clearly so that you can design any kind of service blueprint. If you talk about the customer action, so these are the steps, activities, and interaction that customer perform while buying, experiencing, and evaluating the services. These actions are apparent in blueprint and are laid down after observing and researching customer actions. Fine. And when the customer is in action, the activity performed by employees that are visible to customer are stage or visible contact employee action. And this happens when the customer and contact employee are in face-to-face interaction, and which is known as service encounter. And there are also contact employee contact that occur behind the scene to support and aid on stage activity, and this is known as the backstage. So, and there are a number of support systems that is very important for delivering the services. They cover internal service, steps and interaction that support the employees to deliver the services. Fine. And I have already discussed about the physical evidence. Physical evidence play a very important role because it contribute in your overall experience. In case of hotel, it is the employee's dress, the signage, hotel decor, room design, and its decor contribute to your overall experience, overall service experience. And generally, as a customer, we evaluate any services generally based on the service evidence and then based on our service encounter. So this is very, very important. So let us understand. Just take some example of your service blueprint, how this they interact. So it is a blueprint of express mail delivery service. Suppose you want to send some parcel to your friend, let's say in Mumbai, you are in Delhi. And so what is the physical evidence? In the first instance, there is no physical evidence because you are going to book your order over a phone. So what you will do, what is the action that you will take? The action initiated by you is a customer call. Now, there is nobody which is visible to you. Your phone call will be taken by some employee in their office. So this is the line will be under the invisible. So you will have discussion with your contact service order, and then when your order is finalized, then this is being processed by the support system. The order will be given to the dispatch driver. Dispatch driver will, or rather it is the pickup driver will come to uh, pick up the package. And now when it will be come at your place, then you will see some of the physical evidences, such as you will see the truck, the packaging form, you will see the handheld computer and the uniform of that guy who has come to collect the parcel. So this is the customer gave the package. Then the customer gave the package, and this everything will goes to the almost back stage. Then the support system that the parcel will reach to the airport, will be received and load. Then it will fly to the sorting center. Then there will be a sorting of packages. Then it will be load on the different aircraft destination for different location, that it will fly to destination, which is not visible to us. This is all happening on the very, very back stage. This is a kind of a support process. Then it will unload, and again it will be sorted as per the area. It will again load on the truck as per the area. Then now it is the delivery package, and then the packet has reached to your destination in Mumbai, and at the our friend is going to see certain visible aspect and the physical evidence, such as they will again see the truck, the packaging form, handheld computer, their uniform, etc. And this is how we design it. Right? A similar different example is a overnight hotel stay. So you see there is a, once you will reach the hotel, so there is a physical evidence. You will see the hotel exterior, you will see the parking. So what is the action of a customer? He arrive at a hotel. Now what is the another action? There is a card for baggage. He gives bag to the bell person. Now the bell person will greet and take the bags that is visible to you, and then whatever route he takes, the way he will take your luggage to the your room is not visible to us. It is invisible. Fine. Now then you will proceed to your check-in counter, and then you will find there is some registration desk is there. There are certain registration paper. There's a lobby. You will hand over the key, and how the person is going to give you a room, it depends on their reservation process. So there is a process registration. He will ask certain detail, which is being processed on the support process. There is some software that they are using through their computer. They are feeding the data. Then they are seeing whether the room is visible or not as per your specification. Everything is being checked, whether the schedule, the duration for which you are seeking for the room is available or not. And then once it is done, you are supposed to take action to go to the room. Again, when you are going to your room, so you will encounter this, you will face your elevator, the hallway room, etc., which is going to enhance your experience, or maybe it is going to affect your experience in a simple word. So it is a bell person who is taking the bag to the room in an invisible route, and then it is the delivery. You reach to the room, and the bell person has also reached the room, and he will deliver the bag you will receive the bag. Again, you will have a physical evidence such as card for the bag. Then you will have your sleep shower, and then you will call for the room service. Then you will place the food order, which will be taken by someone in the kitchen. So there is a invisible, then the food will be get prepared. It will be now served in your room, which is visible to you. You will interact with the person who has come to serve you the food. You will receive the food. Again, you will see certain physical evidence, the delivery, the tray, the food appearance, etc. You will have it. Then it's come the time when you are supposed to leave. So you will check out and leave. When you come for checkout and leaving the hotel, then you will again see the bill desk, lobby, hotel, exterior parking. Then there is a checkout process through the system, so reservation system, and this is how it is a blueprint for a overnight hotel stay services. Fine. So my dear students, so this is how you have to design. So you all can design these types of service blueprint for different service categories if you understand these things, right? The basic component, the layout. So you have to put the things into as per the layout depending upon the kind of services, right? Now the another question comes that how can we build a service blueprint? So there are certain processes that generally we follow, and these are the 6-step process that we are going to discuss. The first step is that you have to identify the process to be blueprinted. It is not that we have to make a blueprint for only whole of the service or the part of the services, but the important thing that is that you have to identify which process that you want to be blueprinted. Is it the whole process? It is the part of the services? Or you are saying that there is a certain challenges that your customer are facing, or there may be some challenges or some complaints you are getting. So therefore, it is very important that first of all, you have to understand what are the processes that you want to blueprint. Then identify the customer or the customer segment. Once you have decided, see, this is the important step, this is the important process that I want to blueprint, then you have to take the next step, that you have to identify the target customer or a target audience. Fine. Means who are your target customer, for whom you want to design it. Fine. That is very, very important, because marketer need to realize the fact that each segment has a different set of needs and subsequently different expectation. Though at initial level to develop conceptual ground of service, all the segment can be mapped into a single blueprint, but as the complexities increase and higher level of detail is needed, it is better to construct different blueprint for each segment. After doing this, go for the third step, that is the map the process from the customer point of view. You have to consider the customer action, their choices, point of interaction and experience should be noted and worked upon it. Because the entire focus of designing this service blueprint is to give a better service experience to our employee. So customer, that is very important, that we should be very, very consistent. We should consistently observe and we understand what is the requirement of our customer, so that we can change, we can adjust our services. Then map contact employee action or the technology action. We should not ignore our employees. It is very, very important that we should give due importance to our employee, because it is the employee who is going to deliver the services. So therefore, it is very important to see whether we have the capabilities of technology or not, our employees are well trained or not, whether they require any sort of training, etc. So this mapping is important, as the performance of on-stage employees will indirectly be dependent on the action taken behind the stage. Suppose we want to deliver a good service, but we do not have access to the latest technology, then obviously we are not able to deliver the services that we want to deliver. Fine. Or maybe we have a very poor backend or the support system. Then the next step is the map contact activity to support activities. This is the line of interaction can be drawn between contact employee and internal process. And this is very important process, and it may also be possible that this aspect is not at all present in few of the services. And after this last, add evidence of services at each customer action. That is very important, because as we know that services are totally intangible, so we have to tangibilize the intangible. We have to give something tangible clues to our customers so that they can see it, feel it, and so that they can evaluate and express their service experience. Fine, that is very, very important, because in the absence of any tangibility, that it is very hard for the customer to evaluate and to identify that whether they are very much satisfied or not. So therefore, physical evidence play an important role while customer goes through the process of services, because the physical evidence is generally viewed by the customer. They evaluate their service process vis-a-vis to the service physical evidence, right? So these evidence can help the marketer gain competitive advantage and also help them to effectively position their service in the market. So this is very important. Now coming to why the we have discussed that the service blueprint, we understood how to design the service blueprint, component of blueprint, the process of blueprint. But the important question is, what is the application of service blueprint? So the application of service blueprint is, number one, it is to new service development. If we want to develop a new services, then definitely we have to make a service blueprint. And how can we make a new services? Maybe by just changing some of the process of existing services, maybe some adding new component into it, maybe becoming little bit creative into it. So this, we can use it for concept development, altogether a new one. We may use the market testing, whatever responses we are getting out of our market testing, we can incorporate the changes in our service blueprint, and we can develop a new product. Second, it support a zero defect culture. Since the services are intangible, it basically depends on the service encounter. So how to ensure that there is a zero defect culture? This can only be happen when we have a foolproof blueprint, when we understand what are the different kind of critical incidences of customer encounter where we tend to fail to give a right services to our customer. So this will help us in managing reliability, means we can deliver a quality service again and again and again. That is the managing reliability. And if we see that there are certain weak area or gray area where we have to work upon, so we can work on identifying empowerment issues and how hard we try to put best, that we will give a best service to our customer. There are certain occasion where we will fall short of it. Maybe there are some situation that is not under our control. So if we have designed our service blueprint very judiciously, very rationally, then we will understand and identify what are the area where we tend to fail, and if we fail, then how to recover it. So it will help us to design our service recovery strategy. It will help to identify service problem. It will help us to conduct root cause analysis, and whatever problem we are facing, we can modify the processes. So these are the three broad area where we can use service blueprinting. And these are new service development, supporting a zero defect culture, and service recovery strategy. Now it can also used in as I told you, there is the service blueprint is interaction between marketing, operation, and human resource management. So in service marketer, it is creating realistic customer expectation, realistic, because we are identifying the service encounter critical incidences. So we can use for service system design, promotion. As far as our human resource management is concerned, so there is a people to whom our customer is interacting. So this can be used to understand how should we empower our human resource elements? So we will, it will help us to design our job description, your selection criteria and appraisal system. This will help us to have more productivity, employee productivity. Then higher the employee productivity, the better the job customer satisfaction, and the customer satisfaction will leads to customer loyalty. Operation management, because we have a support system also, we have to render the services as promised. So we have to manage fail points, we have to train our system, we have to have a quality control. And as far as system technologies are concerned, they provide necessary tool for system simplification or specification. We have a personal preference database. So if we know what are the preferences of our customer, then we tend to provide them the good services. So these are the some of the benefit of the service blueprint. It provides a platform for innovation by changing some of the processes, some of the ingredient in the blueprint. Then we will always innovate new product. We will recognize an interdependence among the function, people, and organizations. So this will bring more cohesiveness in the organization. This will help the team building and team spirit. It facilitates both strategic and tactical innovation. It will transfer and store innovation and service knowledge. It will design moment of truth from customer point of view. It will suggest critical point for measurement and feedback in the service process that will help us to further improve our services. And since it will also help to clarify the competitive position, because if we are doing something different from our competitor, it will definitely give us a competitive advantage, and which will clarify the competitive position as well. And so it will finally provide understanding of the ideal customer experience. But there are certain challenges in your in designing the service blueprint, that or what we have to take care. We have to clearly define the processes to be blueprinted. We cannot work in any confusion, or we cannot take any process for the sake of making a blueprint. No, we have to design it, we have to define it. So what are the process that we want to blueprint? We have to clearly define the customer for whom we are making a service blueprint, because for every different segment of a customer, our service blueprint will be different. Who should draw the blueprint? Who has the authority? Should the actual or desired service process be blueprinted or not? Should there any recovery process be incorporated? Because we have to always include this factor of service failure. What is the appropriate level of detail? How much our service blueprint should be made in a detail? At what level we should go? What kind of symbols we should use? And whether to include time on the blueprint or not. These are the certain common issues. So what we have learned today. So we have learned today that what is the concept behind designing the services and innovation. So we have understood the flow documenting, which includes your flow chart and your blueprint. So flow chart is basically a broader picture which only give us some broader aspect of the processes, while the blueprint is more complex in nature. Then we have seen there is a different component of blueprint. We have seen the format of blueprint. Then we have understood the what are the process or mechanism through which we have to make the blueprint. We have seen the common issues. We have seen the benefit and the usage where we can use the service blueprint. So it's Gopal Latwal signing off until we meet